Hi, everybody. Welcome to another podcast episode. Today we are covering the Volleyball Nations League. We are in the first of three phases that will be followed by the finals. The first phase is divided between Antalya, Turkey, and Japan for women. 8 teams are in Turkey and 8 teams are in Japan. Now, let's start off with the freshest game on my mind. I've just finished watching Turkey against Serbia, two teams that prior to today had played against each other 16 times. And each of them had won 8 of the 16 times. Now, it has to be said that last year at the Volleyball Nations League bronze medal final, Serbia won against Turkey, and that happened a couple more times in very key matches in the European Championship, where in 2019, Serbia won gold over Turkey, and in 2021, Serbia eliminated Turkey in the semifinals. Today, though, was a different story. Today, it was a different team, and I have to say I haven't seen Turkey play this well since the Tokyo Olympics. Today there was a different energy. We have Melissa Vargas coming in hot from the Fenerbahce club. Melissa Vargas has recently acquired Turkish citizenship. She is a Cuban player, now naturalized Turkish. She's been playing in Turkey since 2018. And the country is very happy to welcome her. She is really a power hitter. And it was interesting to see both her and Ebrar Karakurt, the other opposite hitter, in the court. They were sometimes on the court at the same time, where Santarelli, which is the new head coach of Turkey, would take out the setter and have two opposites. But most of the times they were, the setter and Vargas would go out. Usually it was Cansu, which is the main setter, and Ebrar would come in with a substitute setter, Elif Şahin. This worked tremendously good. But I have to say, the whole team was great. Special mention for İlkin Aydın, outside hitter. She said in a recent interview that her aim is to be in the first 6 starters of the Turkish team. And, well, she's been starting both games so far. And I have to say, she really has earned that spot. She's really a power hitter. She stands at only 1.79 m. She's one of the shortest, it's certainly the shortest player on the court besides the liberos. So that's really impressive how she manages to hit, how she manages to avoid the block. And she had, I believe, 12 points, but with a really, really high efficiency. So props to her. Also important to mention Gizem Örge, the libero. She hadn't played in the national team for 4 years, despite being one of the top liberos in the country playing for Fenerbahce. And there was talk of how the previous national coach, Giovanni Guidetti, and her had some beef, and that's why she wasn't on the court, and a lot of people were finding it unfair. And now she's back, and she gave her best, so that was really great. But really, the whole supporting cast was great. Of course, Cansu is by great setter. She had a couple of setter drops towards the end of the game. And Ebrar Karakurt also came in strong at the end of the third set, I believe. She had 3 aces in a row and a wonderful attack. So really everybody brought their A game. And it was wonderful to see. Now, on the Serbian side, we have some big names missing, namely, for instance, Bošković, which is their biggest star. But they did have a lot of very experienced players, including a lot of the players that won the World Championship last year, and also players that won multiple Olympic medals. So to say that the Serbian team wasn't in good shape or was, missing a lot of pieces wouldn't be fair. I think what played a big role was, Melissa Vargas for sure as an offensive weapon, the enthusiasm of the whole team. I forgot to mention that on the Turkish side, the captain, Eda Erdem, was also great. So, a lot of factors played into this. It was nice to see some new names from the Serbian side. There's a youngster, I need to look up her name, but she's 18 and she had some good points. But overall, it's a Serbian team that is looking for their unity, is looking for their way of playing. And they lost to the USA the day before, and today they lost to Turkey. So it's a great team. They just need to find a way. I'm sure they are, it's all a work in progress. And the fact that these two teams swapped coaches really matters, This is a personal opinion, but I like both coaches, but I'd much rather have Santarelli coaching me than Giovanni Guidetti, because he has a much more positive attitude and Guidetti has a much more concerned one. Doesn't mean he's not competent, he's extremely competent, but the vibes are different. I don't know to what extent that makes an impact, or, we will see. It's gonna be interesting to see. Either way, it was a great match. It was an extremely entertaining match. I cannot say the same about all the matches I've seen so far, but this was definitely interesting. The previous game that Turkey played was against Korea. Korea was easily overpowered 3-0. They were not great last year. For some reason, maybe because they had home court advantage, I don't remember why, but they were the very last. They didn't win any game. I believe they won 1 or 2 sets in total at the VNL last year, but they didn't go to the Challenger Cup. They didn't exit the VNL because of some technical reason, and that's why Belgium left the VNL and went to a lower level. Well, this year they've brought back some players that were at the Olympic, but still the level seems to be a bit lower than the top teams. Not much more to say about this Turkey-Korea match. It was over pretty fast, 3-0 for Turkey. Now, another match that was interesting was Poland-Italy, where Poland completely overpowered Italy. Now, also the Italians don't have their best players on the court. The Italians went a bit more overboard compared to Serbia. They really have some sort of B team instead of having an A team at the beginning of the season, which is what they did last year as well. Now, I think this is a great idea for 2 reasons. You do want to give some rest to your top players, for them to have longevity, and for them, just to bring their A game when it matters the most. And at the same time, you are developing the new players, you're letting them experience the game. I also noticed that even when Italy is struggling, the coach Davide Mazzanti doesn't really substitute the players. He lets them experience loss. He lets them try to get out of their own way. They have a very experienced player that's on the roster, which is Miriam Silla. She's an outside hitter, very experienced. She played for Conegliano many years. She's been in Champions League finals. She's been at the Olympics. She's been in the World Cup. But still, Davide Mazzanti didn't play her in hard circumstances. So he really, they're trying to bring up new players. I think that's really admirable. Of course, Italy has a gigantic pool to draw from, and it's one of the countries where volleyball is played the most in the world. So they really have a lot of talent. Yeah, and it's a great move to look ahead and know that your top players will not always be there, and although Italy's top players are still really young. Now, one of the veterans is on the court, which is Anna Danesi. She's a middle blocker. And she played pretty well, but so did the youngsters. I'm thinking of Alice De Gradi, outside hitter, she's been great. I'm thinking of Nuakalor and Omarui. Nuakalor is the opposite. Of course, we don't have Paula Egonu, which, as I said, is taking a summer break, but Nuakalor is doing a great job. She's really an offensive weapon, and so is Omarui, which is an outside hitter, and she is also, of course, good at covering in the back. They have some great liberos, which is a lot to say, because Italy has one of the best liberos in the world in De Gennari. So they've played both liberos, both Sara Panettoni and Beatrice Parrocchiale, and they've both done a great job. So you can tell that this team is young, but you can also tell that they just need some more experience. Like the firepower is there. Maybe you don't yet see superstars, but they're on their way. They're developing, and I think again a great choice to bring them on. But especially against Poland, they really came short. They struggled. They were close for a lot of the game, but Magdalena Stysiak made sure that they weren't close enough. She really had quite a performance. Magdalena Stysiak, the opposite of Poland, she played this year in Italy, and she didn't get that much play time. She was played a lot as an outside instead of an opposite. She said she was happy with that. But yeah, again, she showed her talents as an offensive weapon. And Poland, I'm not going to say easily, but they did overpower Italy. Now, one match which I'm sorry to say, but I found a bit boring. Sorry. Like, it's not to be mean. I just didn't find it as entertaining as the others. Was Poland against Canada. I like the Canadian team. I appreciate that they have a woman coach. I'm still really confused as to why we don't have more women's coaches in women's volleyball. Well, yes, it's a common thing all over to have more men than women in positions of authority. But really, I hope this will change in the future. I'm thinking of Eda Erdem of Turkey. I would love to see her as a coach, for instance, but I digress. They do have a young female coach. And this match between Poland and Canada ended 3-2 for Poland. I just didn't find it as entertaining. Maybe the matchup wasn't as entertaining as usual. I found the Canadian team a bit dull. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole game, so I don't have as much to say because I just stopped watching. Maybe I missed a lot of the action because it did end up in 5 games, so probably it's better than I thought, but I apologize. I couldn't bear to watch it all. Now, just something quick about Germany. Germany played against the Netherlands. They won 3-1. Now, Germany is one of those teams that might be good. They are good. They have some good players, but they don't really win medals. You know, they are in the top 16 teams in the world. I would say maybe top 10, maybe. But yeah, they haven't won anything as of late. They do have Anna Ortmann, which scored 3 or 4 aces in a row at the end of a set against the Netherlands. So I always enjoy watching Germany. I just don't really know what to expect from them this year. They played against the Netherlands, which is not one of the strongest teams, and prevailed. And they also played against Croatia, and they easily won 3-0. Croatia, a team that it is the team that substituted Belgium. Somehow they won against Belgium, which has one of the best outside hitters in the world, in my opinion, Herbot. She was, I think, the top acer, the top server of the VNL last year. But as I said, they went to the Challenger Cup and they went to the finals and somehow Croatia prevailed. Now, after prevailing and entering the VNL, Croatia went to the World Championship and did really poorly. So, in my eye, Belgium is actually a better team. Belgium is a team that could be competitive. They have a great libero and they have another great player. The whole team is not that solid. The bench is not that deep, but they could have had an impact. And I'm really curious to see how Croatia will do at the VNL this year. Since they lost 2 matches 3-0. They even lost 3-0 against Bulgaria, which is not one of the strongest teams. Another interesting team is, of course, Brazil. Brazil did lose against China. I did not watch that game, so I don't have much to say about it. And they did win 3-0 against the Netherlands. I will watch the Brazil-China highlights, definitely, and maybe even the whole match, because I'm really curious what happened there. China shouldn't be at the level of Brazil, so I'm really curious about that. So as I said, I didn't watch all the games, so I just gave a commentary mostly on the games that I did watch. One game that I want to pick up on is definitely USA against Serbia, where the US prevailed in 5 sets. And I'm really curious. I know that they brought back Jordan Larson, their veteran captain of the team that won the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. So that will be interesting to watch. They have a lot of firepower. They're a great team, and the fact that they just prevailed against Serbia makes me really excited for the matchup against Turkey. Now, Turkey and the USA are teams where usually the USA prevail, but their matches are also really fun, usually. And we will soon, tomorrow, June 2nd, we will have a matchup between Italy and the USA, which will be interesting. So a lot to look forward to. I really love the VNL because the matches are so exciting. It's really the start of the season. It's the beginning of the summer. The players had just come off the club season, and they come together. There's all this energy, and it makes for really good matchups. I have to say, once again, I'm so impressed with the production, with the video production, with the cameras, with all the technical work that the organization puts into this tournament. It is really impressive. It's logistically impressive to get so many countries involved. But really, the quality of the videos, I think, makes all the difference. I love to watch well-produced videos, and we have them in other sports. We have them, in all the major sports, so why not in volleyball? And we now have it in volleyball as well, so nothing to complain, just props to the organization, really. And yeah, there's so many matches to watch. I honestly, we all have jobs, we all have things to do, so it's hard to follow everything, especially in this phase where there's just so many matches every day. But I will keep watching and keep you guys posted. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.